I wanted to address a question that was brought to my attention based on our last meeting. We had spoken about the fact that at all times there is a message or a vision, a perspective, if you will, that is other than what our eyes see. There's always something to be seen that is not seen with our eyes. There are some people that read the news about a massive, massive conflagration of fire in Los Angeles, and they see and understand that there's a big fire, and they don't hear or don't perceive that Hashem is speaking to us and giving us a message, so that a part of a person sees and is also blind, and he needs help from a much deeper source. Chazal referred to it, and Chavetz Chaim calls it v'ha'er einenu b'sorasecha. That implies that if we could see through Torah tinted lenses, we would see the world much more closely to its reality than if we're only seeing the world through our eyes. So there is this tint of ha'ere neinu b'sarasecha, but we don't all have that, and it's something that we request, and it's something that we yearn for. It's something that we learn to try to get closer to. But there needs to be a way to function when I don't have that perspective. I know that the fire, the big fire, is speaking to us, but I can't hear its message, and I don't know what to think about it. And I don't have access to a Navi or even to a Chacham who will tell me how to interpret these events. And certainly the Holocaust is part of that story, where a conflagration, this huge fire is going on, or was going on, and it's one of the many things in the world that passes like a wave. We have this fire, but when the fire is past, there's destruction in its wake, but it's all quiet. It's all calm. It happened, and it's like a wave. We were just reading about somebody who, after the war, went back to Vienna. The storm passed, and he went back to Vienna. Well, what did he learn anything? Did he gain anything? Or did he just survive? Did he just came through on the other end, and he's still there to tell the tale of the wave that went over his head? He's still there to tell the tale, but he doesn't necessarily know what it was that he was meant to learn from the event. His eyes saw them, but he didn't have the blessing of v'ha'er einenu b'sorasecha. One of the tragedies of Jewish existence is the failure to learn from and to hear and to see what the events are really telling us. And the Nevi'im over and again tried to admonish us, tried to help us see that events are speaking to us. But there was a nation that had a hard time looking past its physical eyes. And the Mesilas Yesharim says that they had a difficult time looking past even their spiritual eyes, because a person can misinterpret an event that confirms his bias, and now he's actually learning the wrong thing from the same event. So what's a person supposed to do? How can a person deal with these errors? It seems as though we are designed to serial error, just one error leading to the next. The Nevi'im, they gave us clarity. The Chachamim seem to have clarity. But we seem to be rolling from one error to the next and pointing to events and say, this event, what is this event? This event confirms what I already thought before. The event doesn't teach me anything. There was a lovely friend of mine who said that he heard the word eisegesis, which is the opposite of exegesis. Exegesis is learning from the text, and eisegesis is imposing your meaning into the text. Instead of learning from events, we impose our meaning into the event, and we decide that the event means exactly what we thought before. And we get that confirmation bias. The solution is the temporary solution, which is supposed to be the person's guiding light, is limad leshoncha lomar eini yodea. Teach your tongue to say, I don't know. The Gemara uses this expression. This expression comes from a brisa in Maseches Derech Eretz. The Gemara uses it to explain why Moshe said kachatzos instead of bachatzos when he was speaking to Paro. He said at approximately midnight. He didn't say at midnight, even though that was the instruction. Because the value of being able to always speak in tentative terms, that value has infinite ramifications. It helps the person in every walk of their life. Be an Eini Yodea. By the way, the Mizrahi says that it's only for things that are not so good. For things that are good, you should be able to say them with confidence. That's how the Mizrahi understands that Lamad Lashon Chalomer Eini Yodea, that we should be used to speaking tentatively when the subject matter is not ideal, as was the case with Moshe. He was reporting about the coming of a plague, and so he spoke in tentative terms, where if a person knows that something good is coming, they can speak in more definitive terms. But the way that we manage our humanity, the fact that we're human and our eyes are not always attuned to what the Torah's message is, we accomplish that and we bridge the gap by adopting a stance of I don't know. And we have to be careful with an I don't know. It's not a dismissive I don't know. Who knows? It is a bridge. I would love to know. Someday, perhaps I will know. And I am open to learning. I am open to hearing. I am open to growing. The Eini Yodea is not a dismissive Eini Yodea. It is an internalization of the fact that there is more to it. I would love to know more to it, but I am at one with the fact that I don't know. And living our lives trying to get it always right is just a recipe for anxiety and depression and anger. That doesn't mean that we give ourselves permission to get it wrong. It means that we attach ourselves to the principle of I don't know. I would love to know. We can never overemphasize the use of these words. I don't know, and I would like to know. The implications are everywhere, but it's a way to live on a day-to-day basis when we have only one piece of information, and that is that there's more to it. That's the only piece of information we can be absolutely sure of, that there's more to it. So what is the more to it? What am I supposed to learn from the fire? What am I supposed to learn from good, excellent? I don't know. But I do know that there's more to it. That much I know. That if you walk around with just that piece of information, there's more to it. I don't know, but I'd love to know. That creates a receptivity, an openness, an ability for Hashem to give us more insight, more awareness, more clarity, and even a fulfillment of our prayer, of giving us that clarity. There's more to it. Don't know, and I would love to know. It's a short little message. It's a very straightforward path for how to live our lives, especially when dealing with events that are large, that are waves, that are big waves that go over our heads. We're meant to learn from those. What are we meant to learn? For that, we turn to Chachamim, we turn to those who have already been through the maze, says the Mesilas Yesharim. They've already gone through the maze. They are standing higher, and they're able to guide us to learn from the events in our lives, and learning from the events in history, and learning from the events that are going on in the world around us. They can guide us. So how do I handle it in the meantime, in the interim? I handle it with simple words. There's more to it. I don't know, and I would love to know.
Rabbi, why the difference